everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elise, and today I'm going to be doing a live reaction to the Goodreads Choice Awards. And after I go through the awards and the nominees, I'm going to do a little bit of a Libby roulette to see which of the nominees I'll be reading. So I'm not going to be reading from every single category. I think I'm just going to choose 3. I'm anticipating that I'm going to be choosing fiction, fantasy, and horror, but there's a chance I might choose something from mystery, thriller, or another category if something looks really good. But I'm still going to be using my library to see which nominee comes up first for me to read and kind of letting fate decide that way. So I haven't looked at any of the nominees yet, so this is going to be my first initial reaction. I do have some predictions written down that I'm going to go through. I think normally the first category is fiction, so this was just kind of based off the top of my head, off of what I want to read that I knew came out this year. I think obviously Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid is a shoo-in for a nominee. I think there's a chance that Heart the Lover by Emily King is a nominee. I think that came out in the right window, and Writers and Lovers was really popular, so I could see that one being a potential nominee for that reason. I've seen The Hounding on a lot of Goodreads lists, so that makes me think they may be inclined to put it there, even though I haven't heard as many people talk about that. I've heard a lot about The Compound, and I think that that could make either fiction or potentially the mystery thriller category.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I think Endling has the potential to be on this list. I've heard decent talk about it. It obviously was longlisted for the Booker Prize. And another one that I think could make general fiction or potentially science fiction, because it leans kind of in the cli-fi, is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I've heard a lot of great things, and it's getting really good reviews. And I love that book, so selfishly I want it to be nominated. Okay, we're going to start with fiction. Okay, so off the bat, I have one correct guess. Heart the Lover. 3 Days in June, haven't heard about. Correspondent, I haven't. Cursed Daughter, I have an arc of. Oh, I did have Emperor of Gladness on my predictions, but I misspelled it. Like, I just had a really bad typo, so I was like, I can't tell what book I was trying to write down, but I did predict it. Okay, Wild Dark Shore. People Like Us, I have not heard of. Looks like National Book Award winner, which is cool. Girls Who Grew Big, We All Live Here. Oh, Sonia and Sunny, I know, was also a Booker Prize long list. The Names was a Jenna's book club pick, so that makes sense. Oh, Three Lives of Kate K. I think I thought that was a thriller or like a suspense type of novel, so I'm surprised that's on fiction, but I haven't read it, so I wouldn't know. Oh, My Friends, I could see that being a nominee. Okay, personally, off of this list, a book club I would like to do in December is reading Heart the Lover, so that would be a good pick for me. I have an arc of Cursed Daughters that a friend gave me, so that one I want to read. Emperor of Gladness is available, but I am going to be giving my vote to Wild Dark Shore. I loved that book so much. That was one of my favorite books from this summer. Okay, up next is historical fiction. I don't have any guesses for that necessarily, at least not off the top of my head. I'm not a huge historical fiction reader, but I'm not opposed to it, so probably won't read from this category unless there's something that I really, really want to get to. Okay, Good Dirt, I have heard of. David Baldacci is obviously a popular name. What Kind of Paradise? The Amalfi Curse, I heard some good things about, but I didn't love The Lost Apothecary, so I don't know that I'm super interested in that one, personally. Stolen Queen. Oh, I have heard about Junie. I have heard about Buckeye. Oh, Isola's. That one is on my want to read list. Oh, The Hounding. I was right there. Oh, and Atmosphere. I predicted that for general fiction, but I guess that does make sense for historical fiction. I have heard of Homeseeking as well. I've heard of a lot more of the nominees in this category than I do normally. So Isola is one that I want to read. The Hounding is one that I want to read. And Junie, I don't know if it's on my list, but I think it's one that I'm still interested in. Awakening Her Sister's Ghost, Navigating Truth About Love. That sounds really good. Okay, definitely adding that to my want to read. I'm not personally interested in Atmosphere because I really don't like space. So I don't like realistic space. I'm okay with like sci-fi, like when it's fictional space, but not when it's about realistic people being in space. Anyway, okay, next category is mystery thriller. The only two potential predictions I had, other than whatever Frida McFadden wrote this year that I will not be reading, was You Are Fatally Invited and How to Seal Your Own Fate. Those are two that I've already read. But yeah, so I'm not sure what else. Those are my only predictions of maybe they would make the long list. Okay, Frida McFadden, Karen Slaughter. I do have Forget Me Not on my list. Don't know that I want to read it. Oh, Famous Last Words, Richard Osman, John Grisham. I feel like David Baldacci, John Grisham, there's a lot of like dad authors on the list. And not all dads, maybe just my dad reads those authors or has. Vera Wong. Oh my gosh, how many Frida McFadden books are on here? Ashley Flowers. I used to listen to Crime Junkie and I don't know that I want to read a book by her anymore. Dan Brown, another dad author. I have a few friends reading that actually, and pretty mixed reviews on the Dan Brown book. Okay, I think out of everything on this list, I would read the essay Cosby. Okay, maybe I'm not going to end up reading a thriller or mystery thriller, even though that is one of my top read genres. Romance, I'm not a huge romance reader. My predictions would just be like Emily Henry, Allie Hazelwood, that new one with the fall leaves on the cover. Yeah, I'm not a huge romance reader, so I probably won't read something from this category. Till Summer Do Us Part, never heard of it. Okay, Wild Side, Elsie Silver, Carly Fortune, Anna Huang. Oh, First Time Caller, I had some friends who liked that. This is what I was thinking of with the fall leaves, if it makes you happy. Oh, the favorites is on romance. Interesting. That was one I would have maybe predicted for general fiction. I wasn't huge on that book. I ended up DNFing it. I was in a book club that was reading it, and I wasn't going to finish it in time for the book club. And I was kind of like, I took a break from it, and I wasn't feeling compelled to pick it back up. And then they told me the rest of what happened, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to read it. Kennedy Bryan, Emily Henry, Ellie Hazelwood, Abby Jimenez. I do remember looking at Taurus season because that was one that seemed like it campy and fun, but I think I heard that it had not the best, just like not the best banter. Like it was kind of cringy. Ooh, next is Romantasy. I do have a list of predictions. I'm open to reading from the Romantasy category as well. My predictions for Romantasy, I have Enchanted Greenhouse. That's one I just read recently. And I liked it. I definitely liked The Spell Shop a little bit more. It just felt like a much stronger story, stronger characters. I think Enchanted Greenhouse just needed to marinate a little bit more before it was written. And I really liked the relationship between the love interests, but I liked the relationship as companions. I didn't necessarily feel the romance between them. But I do think Enchanted Greenhouse could be nominated because The Spell Shop was nominated. Second Death of Locke has been getting a lot of love, so I could see that one on this list. Arcana Academy is another one I've seen a lot of people talking about. Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, another really popular sequel. Silver Cloak, I wasn't sure if that was romantasy or fantasy, but that was one that I kept seeing pushed a lot when it came out. I do think The Night and the Moth will be nominated, and Shield of Sparrows potentially. That one I think could make the long list, but not the short list. Oh, I should have guessed Rebecca Ross. I forgot that Onyx Storm came out. I read Fourth Wing. I don't think I'm going to continue in the series. Wraith of the Fallen have not. Wait, have I heard of that? No, I have not. Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, Carissa Broadbent. I did read the first, like the very first one in that vampire series. I haven't continued yet. I think I gave that 4 stars. I still haven't felt drawn to continuing it, but I'm not closed off from continuing. So I probably wouldn't pick that one just because I would have like 2 or 3 more books to read. Shield of Sparrows did make it. Oh, Mate, I should have guessed that one. Direbound, I had a friend read recently and she really liked it. The Bonds of Hercules, is that the one where it's like she's a girl, but she's also Hercules? Accomplice to the Villain, that makes sense. Oh, how could I forget Alchemized? Ooh, Alchemized has been getting a lot of love, but then Onyx Storm is here. So if I had to predict a winner, I'd probably pick Onyx Storm, but Irresistible Urge to Fall Through Your Enemy, Alchemized, or Vicious Oaths, Rose and Chains, I've heard good things about. Have I actually read anything on this list? No. Oh, Enchanted Greenhouse didn't make it. And neither did Second Death of Locke. Interesting. Okay. Off of this list, I think I would be most interested in reading Wild Reverence, Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, Shield of Sparrows, Direbound, Night and the Moth. Okay, fantasy, my predictions. And I'm crossing my fingers. I really want the Raven Scholar to be on this list so I can read the Raven Scholar. I also think Incandescent, Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, The Everlasting, I think that's Alex E. Harrow's new one, and then Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher, I think could make the list. So let's see. Society of Unknowable Objects. I've never heard of that. Okay, Drop of Corruption makes sense. I still have to read book one in that. Incandescent made it. Alchemy of Secrets, Brigands and Bread Knives. I think that I didn't realize that one was out already. Oh, Bury Your Bones in the Moonlight Soil. That makes sense. The Sirens. Never heard of that one. Catabasis. That makes sense that it's on here, but I'm scared to read it. It's not getting great reviews. Hemlock and Silver, I was right. The Devils. I've never read a Joe Abercrombie. Wind and Truth. Watermoon, I also heard like not the greatest things. I heard a lot of people were kind of let down by that one. King of Sorrow, haven't heard of. Thief of Night. Oh, The Everlasting. Okay, I'm surprised The Strength of the Few is on there because that just came out today. So like it hasn't people haven't read it yet unless they've read ARCs, but I think it has enough of a following it could get votes. Red City, River Has Roots, Raven Scholar. Okay, Raven Scholar's on here, which is great. Have I read anything on this list? No, but I'm not surprised I'm not the biggest new release reader. Actually, I really want to read The Strength of the Few and The Raven Scholar, and I got on my library hold list second I could, so I do already have my library copy out today on my Kindle, and I think I need to take some pressure off of myself, so I think I'm going to read The Strength of the Few. Next is science fiction. I don't have any predictions for this. I'm like a science fiction baby. I've read like Red Rising and Gideon the Ninth and um Orbital, the literary one. I like a literary sci-fi, but I get a little bit intimidated, so I don't always keep up with releases in this category. Okay, I have heard of The Dream Hotel. Is that one on my list? It's not. um, haven't heard of any of the top row. Oh, The Compound is on sci-fi. Interesting. And I think I have the no, I took the memory collectors off. I could be convinced. Okay. Compound, Salcrop by Yumi Kitsei. I started, oh, this is one's on my want to read. I started a different book by her and I had to DNF it because I got freaked out because they were in space and they were losing oxygen. So I stopped after like 2 pages. Once in Future Me, I think I've heard of. Dark Matter meets Girl Interrupted. I liked Girl Interrupted. I did not like Dark Matter. Don't tell anyone. That's like my one of my most controversial takes is I did not like Dark Matter. Yeah, I have Automatic Noodle. My friend gave it to me. Oh, and I have Local Heavens. Oh, Death of the Author. That makes sense. I do have some predictions for horror. I think Play Nice by Rachel Harrison could make the list. I'm really hoping that Buffalo Hunter Hunter makes the list because if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've checked it out from the library like 2 times and had to return it, and I haven't been able to read it yet, and I really want to. Starving Saints, I think, could be on this list. That's another one I'd love to read. When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I've never read a Nat Cassidy because I'm scared, but that one still sounds interesting to me. And I think Blood on Her Tongue could potentially make this list as well. Stephen King, yep. Darcy Coates, Sylvia Marino Garcia. I haven't heard great things about that book, and another controversial thing, I didn't love Mexican Gothic. I bumped it up to a 3 star because I really liked the ending. I thought it had good payoff, but the journey I wasn't obsessed with. And then I read Silver Nitrate by her, and I really didn't like it. So I've just I don't think she's the author for me. Grady Hendrix makes sense. Immaculate Conception, The Lamb, Buffalo Hunter Hunter. Yay. Coffin Moon, never heard of that. Haunting of Payne's Hollow, haven't heard of that. I also haven't heard of Breathe In, Bleed Out. That one looks like it could be fun and campy. Play Nice is on here. Oh, Hungerstone, I do have on my list. We Love You Bunny, I also have an arc of from my friend, and I'm really nervous to read We Love You Bunny. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. When the Wolf Comes Home, What a Hunger. Oh, Chuck Tingle. All of these are making sense. I just didn't do very thorough research with my predictions. The Possession of Alba Diaz. Isabel Cañas is another author where I read The Hacienda by her. Sorry, I just sneezed a bunch. I also read The Vampires of El Norte, and they both were fine. I liked La Hacienda a little bit more than Vampires of El Norte, but I, yeah, they were just like missing the je ne sais quoi for me. But I love the premise. I love the setup. Bat Either and Other Names for Cora Zhang. That makes sense. Blood on Her Tongue. Wait, did I get? Okay, everything except for Starving Saints. My predictions were correct. So feeling kind of smart. I think I haven't read anything on this list. Guys, I've read like 6 new releases total this year. Okay, that's the end of my predictions. We'll see if anything that I've mentioned for other categories ends up on some of the other things. So now we have debut novel. Oh, I have When the Tides Held the Moon on. Hey, again, not true. I have that on my want to read list. I didn't realize Homeseeking was a debut. Oh, Judy's a debut too. A lot of the historical fictions are also debuts and the general fictions. Okay, next is audiobook, which is an interesting category. Yeah, like they're not even really highlighting the audiobook narrators. It's still just highlighting the author and in the title. I just want to know why they're nominated for audiobook. Like, because some of these ones that I see, I'm like, do they have something additional in the production? Are they immersive? Do they have sound effects? Or is it just that these are popular titles with audiobooks? I actually think I saw that it's based on people that log the audios want to read, which I never do. Young adult sci-fi and fantasy, I could read something from. I do still sometimes like that. And they get all the best covers. YA, fantasy, and sci-fi have the best covers. I don't think I realized our Infinite Fates was YA. The Floating World, I could potentially be interested in. Hey, Rebel Witch, I do technically need to read. Hazelthorn, I'd love to read. I think Sunrise on the Reaping's gonna win. Oh, baby. That's my baby girl. Uh, yeah. Okay. Sorry to everyone else. Can't compete where you don't compare. Love you. Moose, you're hitting the tail. You're hitting the camera with your tail, buddy. Okay, next we have YA fiction. Oh, Sisters in the Wind. I loved Firekeeper's Daughter. I have read it like 2 or 3 times. I loan it out to people. I haven't read the sequel because I think I'm nervous it's gonna like tarnish how dear I hold it. Oh, I don't think I realized When the Devils Sing was YA fiction. They're still making more of those. Dating and Dragons, I loved Dungeons and Drama. I think that was the first one. And They Were Roommates was YA. I thought that was like new adult because I thought that was like had spice in it. Okay, Catholic schoolgirls. I was a Catholic schoolgirl, so I can say that. Oh, I didn't know there was a new Tiffany D. Jackson. Adding that to the list. Okay, nonfiction. Open to reading nonfiction, but it has to be the right vibe. Oh, the Idaho 4. I do read like true crime nonfiction. I think it needs to be done right and it needs to be respectful and tasteful and not exploitative of the victims. Idaho 4, I think that one might just be a little bit hard. It has a little bit too much like recency. Murderland. Ooh, one day everyone will have always been against this. Oh, I've read The Serviceberry. I do think I would read Murderland. Dark Seekers of Johnson and Johnson. Interesting. I feel like Let Them Theory will win. Everything is Tuberculosis could win as well. Oh, that one could be really interesting. Okay, Malala. I've heard of Memorial Days. I think my friend read that and really loved it. House of My Mother, I think, could win. I have heard people talk about Mother Mary Comes to Me. History and biography. Haven't heard of many of these. Ooh, James Baldwin. Oh, I do want to read the JFK Conspiracy. Is that all? Is that all the categories? It is. Okay, so I'm going to take some time today, look through all of the nominees, see which ones I want to read the most, and I'll come back to you when I've started some reading. Okay, hi, it's later in the same evening. Don't worry about that. I'm moving, so I'm allowed to have some mess right now. But I figured I would make some decisions, see what I'm going to be reading this week, or at least see kind of like what's being put on the roster. I did decide I am for sure going to read Strength of the Few. I already have my library copy of Strength of the Few checked out. It came in first thing this morning. I was number 11 in line for a copy, so that was very exciting. If you don't know, you can search for new releases or books that haven't come out yet on Libby, and sometimes you'll have to do the deep search option, but sometimes it'll let you put them on hold before they come out, or if it registers that this release is coming out but you can't put it on hold yet, you can hit the little bell icon and have it notify you when it is available to put on hold. And so I did that for Strength of the Few. I did that for Oathbound. I think I did that for one other book this year. I put them on hold way, way, way in advance before they even come out. And then I'm like the first person that gets my copy out on Libby. So there's a little hack if you didn't know. You may have known already. So I am for sure going to read The Strength of the Few, even though I do really want to read The Raven Scholar. It's such an anticipated sequel, and that does technically fit the point of this video a little bit better, which was a Libby roulette. So for my other two reads, I'm going to be choosing between the fiction category, the horror category, and oddly enough, the historical fiction category. Would have never predicted that I was going to choose to read something from historical fiction. I'm almost never interested in the picks they have, but there were so many on first glance that I was interested in this year, and there were also quite a few that when I went back, I ended up adding to my want to read shelf. So if I go with fiction, I will for sure read Cursed Daughter because I do have a physical copy of it, but I am still going to see if my library has an audio copy available just because I want to be able to try and read 3 books in a week, and that's going to be most achievable if at least one of them is on audio. So I'm going to go onto my Libby. Ooh, okay. So for their audio, I have to place a hold that says 2-week wait. Okay, well, I guess that works with the roulette action. Okay, I have a whole list of horror ones that I'm interested in. So first, I'm going to look. Buffalo Hunter Hunter, I think, is on my hold shelf, but it's 16 hours, and Strength of Few is a long book too. Okay, I'm going to unsuspend my audiobook hold and see how shortly that comes in. Also, I'm not doing a screen recording for this just because you can see my library name and trying not to reveal where I live. Okay, the next one that I was interested in was Breathe In, Bleed Out. Ooh, 8 weeks wait. Let's see, Blood on Her Tongue. Blood on Her Tongue I can borrow right now because that's a much shorter audiobook than Buffalo Hunter Hunter, even though that's one of my most anticipated reads of the year. Okay, Blood on Her Tongue is available now, so that could end up being our choice. Next, I'm going to look at Hungerstone. Hungerstone audio, I have to place hold 4 weeks. The Kindle version's available for checkout, but I just know I wouldn't get to it as fast because I'm reading Strength of the Few on my Kindle. Okay, Play Nice is the next one, and I feel like that's gonna have a long hold. Okay, this says available soon. Okay, next is Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazang, also available right now. Now we have a competition. Okay, Immaculate Conception. Again, it just says available soon. It's really going to be between what can I get right now and if Buffalo Hunter Hunter is available by the time I'm done recording this segment. Okay, When the Wolf Comes Home. I feel like this one, yes, this one does have a wait 2 weeks. And lastly, Coffin Moon. Okay, Coffin Moon has a whole 10 weeks. The one I've never heard of has the longest wait. That's kind of crazy. I'm going to refresh and see if it says your subscription for Buffalo Hunter Hunter is ready. It's not. That's okay. Let me go through historical. So I said I was interested in Isola. Oh, that one is available now. 13 hours? Why did I pick all of the long books? Anyway, so The Bright Years was the next one. My animals are going crazy. Let's see how long. 2 weeks. Next was The Hounding. Oh, of course, this is the shortest one so far. 2-week wait. What Kind of Paradise? 2-week wait. Junie's available now. Also 13 hours. Okay, Amity. Amity just says available soon. I do think it's been 2 minutes max. Okay, Buffalo Hunter Hunter's not ready yet, you guys. Maybe I'll pick the shortest one. And then I finish it really fast, and by the time I finish it, Buffalo Hunter Hunter comes in. Blood on Her Tongue has been on my TBR a little bit longer. Or, okay, what if I check out Bat Eater and Blood on Her Tongue and I finish them both really fast, and then by the time I'm done, Buffalo Hunter Hunter will be ready, while I'm also reading Strength of the Few and one other book. Have you considered that? I feel like I'm craving like gothic vibes right now. November feels like a really gothic month to me. So I think I'm going to go with Blood on Her Tongue. Okay, Isola and Junie were both available. Or I could read Cursed Daughters. Cursed Daughters is kind of thick. But then those two were both 13 hours. Wow, this is an incredibly difficult decision. I think I'm going to go with Junie. 16 years old and enslaved since she was born, Junie has spent her life on Bellarine Plantation in Alabama, cooking and cleaning alongside her family, tending to the white master's daughter, Violet. Her daydreams are filled with poetry and faraway worlds, while she spends her nights secretly roaming through the forest, consumed with grief over the sudden death of her older sister, Minnie. When a wealthy guest when a wealthy guest arrives from New Orleans hinting at marriage for Violet, upending Junie's life, she commits a desperate act, one that rouses Minnie's spirit from the grave. See, that was the little thing that my eyes caught. Tethered to this world unless Junie can free her. Okay, so there's my official plan. I'm going to read Junie by Aaron Crosby Eckstein, and I am going to read Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen and The Strength of the Few by James Islington. I am going to go tuck myself into bed and start The Strength of the Few. I'm so excited. So last night I started The Strength of the Few on my Kindle, and I only got like 5% into it, but I did read the first 3 chapters. I will say, for Strength of the Few, it is really hard to talk about without spoilers because every single detail so far has hinged on the big reveal of how book 1 ended. So I really can't say much, but that you should read book 1 because book 2 already is off to a bang. Because I personally am just like aware of the concept of world building, it's hard not to spot when the author is world building. But I do like how the information was delivered at the start of chapter 1 because there were so many questions. I didn't even, end of book 1, I didn't even know what questions to ask. There was such a big reveal. And I think that the information was delivered in a way that made sense for the story, but also clued in readers on a lot of necessary information. So now I'm just curious how this information was learned in the first place for it to be delivered to us. So that'll be an interesting mystery to solve. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm liking being back with the characters, back in the world, and I'm endlessly fascinated by the path the story takes. It never takes the direction I expect it to, so very much enjoying The Strength of the Few so far. About 17% into Blood on Her Tongue. I started that on audiobook, and I've got a decent amount of driving to do today, so I'm going to do a little bit more of that on audiobook as well. It is so ooky spooky and gothic. It's got some gory details, but it really fits the setting and the vibe so far. So far, we're following our main character, Lucy, her sister, Sarah, but it's pronounced like Saha in the audiobook. I feel like I can't replicate the sound the right way. I'm not sure what like dialect it's supposed to be. The audiobook narrator, she is acting. Oh my gosh, the prologue was very dramatic. And with the rest of the book so far, I do feel like she's delivered the emotion well. It's just got great atmosphere. I feel like it was the exact type of gothic vibe I was going for. So, really enjoying Blood on Her Tongue. I'll definitely get more of that read today on my drives. I've now reached the 48% mark of Blood on Her Tongue, just under the halfway point. I am really, really enjoying this story so far. It's really just scratching a gothic itch. And I am loving the narrator. I think it said like Emily Tent. I'll put her name on the screen to like give her credit for a job well done. She is just like acting these parts so well. There's a really strong bond between the two sisters, and I can feel every little bit of emotion in the way that she's conveying it. So I'm really glad that I picked up the audiobook, even though I just had kind of done that for convenience sake. But at the 50% mark, I obviously won't say anything too spoilery, but we are starting to get a little bit more information about the Bog Woman and kind of the mystery there, who she was, why she died, why Sada has this pull to her. We've definitely started getting some more gory details. It's definitely been a little bit gross. So yeah, really enjoying the writing, really liking the relationship between the two sisters. I have not made any progress in The Strength of the Few. I just had a late day yesterday and Survivor was on, so I just kind of watched that and then went to bed. But I'm hoping that I'm going to get to read a little bit of Strength of the Few today. I'm about to meet a friend for coffee and then I'll be off to work and we'll hopefully get some reading time in later tonight. I feel like I did a really poor job of describing Blood on Her Tongue, but the gist is we are following two sisters, Lucy and Sarah. Lucy gets a letter one day from Sarah, who has just been at home with her husband, basically saying, I'm sick and there's a lady living in my head, get her out. Meanwhile, kind of in the background, we're learning that recently a bog body has been discovered. There's kind of a little bit of mystery surrounding of like, who could this be? The two sisters are really worried about her being institutionalized because they had an aunt who was institutionalized. Things did not go well, so that's their number one thing that they want to avoid. And the men in their life don't really seem to care about that worry. And that's kind of the start of the story, but we can tell that there's something eerie going on. I totally forgot to update. It's Wednesday. I finished Blood on Her Tongue on Saturday. So it's been like 4 days. And I gave it a high 4 star. I really liked it. It's definitely a I support women's wrongs kind of book, which I'm always a fan of one of those. But it really had just excellent atmosphere. I enjoyed the writing in the descriptions, the moodiness, and it also had a great level of intrigue of just what was going to happen with the sisters, how they were going to solve the problem that they found themselves in, essentially. And I thought it was a great story of sisterhood, especially with some of their internal tensions, but how they're also willing to forget their differences to work together. So I thought it was a great sisterly story. At the end, I was just like, okay, let's go, girls. First Goodreads Choice nominee gets a big old check mark for me. I really enjoyed that one. My goal with this video was to do like my thoughts on Blood on Her Tongue, my thoughts on Strength of the Few, my thoughts on Junie. And I have to be so honest, I don't know if that formatting is going to work because I've been flopping. I've been flopping so hard. I am only 10% into The Strength of the Few, and granted, it is a much longer book. I've been reading a chapter or two every night, but because of the length, a chapter or two doesn't give me much progress. I'm going to say this kind of vaguely, but I love the different perspectives that we are viewing the story from. I feel equally invested in all of the different main story arcs. As soon as we leave one arc, I like can't wait to get back to it, but then I'm also really excited to be back to one of the others. So I think that's really good motivation for continuing on. My issue is just that I save it to read at night, and so I read a chapter and a half and my eyes are closing against my will because I get sleepy at 9 o'clock. So that's nothing on the book. That's on my own circadian rhythm. I am really loving The Strength of the Few, and I'm hoping once packing's kind of finished, things are moved in, and with Thanksgiving coming up and having some time off, that I'll be able to just sink my teeth into this book and spend a lot of quality time with it. And then Junie, I actually found at my library, so I checked out a physical copy, and I have the audio copy from Libby as well. So I've been tandem reading it a little bit, and I did make good progress on it today. I want to say I'm close to 20% in, but up until today, I wasn't touching any of the books for this video, and I have no good reason why other than just me being a mood reader. In Junie, we're following our main character, Junie, who's a servant girl for a white family. I think it takes place in Alabama, but just in general, it takes place in post Civil War South. And she is kind of the lady's maid to the white daughter in the household. They have a very friendly relationship, they get along, but there is 100% still that hierarchical relationship. We also see Junie grieving the loss of her sister. We know that her sister has died at the very start of the book, but we don't know how she's died. I have since found out, but I'm not going to tell you. Internally compares herself a lot to her sister and kind of the image she held her sister to. So she feels like her sister always knew what to do. She was perfect, she was kind, she never got in trouble, and she feels like she's kind of an opposite of her. We find out that the family she works for is kind of low on funds, and some rich family friends are coming in. So Violet is the daughter, and we learned that Violet's parents want to marry her off to the son of this family friend. But for Junie, this means she would have to go with Violet and leave her family that would stay behind with the parents. Violet does not want to get married to this guy. She wants to marry for love. Junie does not want to leave her family, especially after the loss of her sister. One additional thing that's happened in the plot so far is Junie has been thinking like, or what could I give to this family to sell so that they wouldn't have to marry Violet off? She knows that they're not going to sell their own things. And this was something that I really I didn't like that Junie did this, and I don't think we're supposed to, but she literally robs her sister's grave because she knows that her sister died with a valuable necklace. And she's like, well, I can just give my sister's nice necklace to this white family to sell so that I don't have to leave. And I'm like, I understand the end goal, but girl, I didn't like that she did that. But when she did do this, that kind of awakened her sister's ghost, which is another thing we learn in the synopsis, that her sister's ghost is going to appear. So that scene with the ghost appearing was a pretty cool scene. I did like that. I enjoyed the magical realism element. The means do not justify the end is how I feel about that. I'm feeling on the positive side of neutral right now, where like I'm not in love with the story, but I don't dislike anything about it. But one thing that I think is maybe less comfortable to sit with right now is the character of Junie, because I know that this is going to be a story of her growth, but we're in the before right now, we're not in the after. So we are with her when she needs developing and when she needs growing. That can just kind of be a tough place to be in sometimes. One of the examples being, she's like, everyone loved my sister, everyone valued her, blah, blah, blah. No one feels the same way about me. And then we consistently see every other one of her family members lie or cover up for her so that she doesn't get in trouble, comfort her, show her understanding, show her compassion. Junie's monologue is like, I hate that she is like giving me compassion right now because it's really just pity. And it's like, they feel for you because your sister that you loved passed away and it's affecting you. We see the grandmother also grieving the sister, Minnie, just kind of recounting the person Minnie was. And Junie is just like, well, I get it. I'm not her. I'm not Minnie, and you guys all hate me. And the grandma's like, that's literally not what I meant. I wasn't saying anything about you. I'm sorry you took it that way. And she's like, enough. I know that you meant to put me down by saying how much you love your dead granddaughter. I'm putting trust in the author that we have those moments so we can see Junie's growth in the end. I'll probably make more progress on Junie than I will Strength of the Few just because it's on audio and I have a lot of tasks that I have to do. Thanks for sticking by me in my flop era. You don't know this, but I'm back literally a week later. I had a really busy end of week and weekend moving, and now it is Thanksgiving week, so haven't really had time to film or sit down and read. I've had plenty of audiobook time, which is why I have now finished Junie by Erin Crosby Eckstein. Junie follows our main character, Junie, who is a 16-year-old slave girl living in Alabama right before the brink of the Civil War. She is a lady's maid to a white girl the same age as her in the household, and while they are friends and have a level of trust throughout, there is still definitely a power imbalance. The catalyst for the plot of this book is that the white girl Violet is potentially going to be getting married, which means that Junie will go with her and be separated from her family. Before the events of the book, we learn that Junie's sister has recently passed away. It was her older sister, Minnie, who she really looked up to and idolized. And partways in, Junie encounters Minnie's ghost, who essentially gives her 3 tasks to complete so that Minnie can pass on into the afterlife. Starting off with some of my critiques of the book, just so I can end on a positive note, because I did give this a 3.5. I did have a lot of elements that I liked. I obviously liked it enough to finish it. I think that this book was mismarketed slightly in that all of the marketing I saw for it made it come across as an adult novel. It was shelved in the fiction section of my library. It was not shelved in the YA section, and I think that it should have been YA. Junie's 16. There's a mosquito in here. Junie is 16 and she definitely reads like a 16-year-old. She has all of the emotions of a 16-year-old, all of the impulsiveness and thinking that all of the people who are older and wiser than her could simply never know better. And that sometimes made for just a little bit of frustration, even though it did feel very true to character. So I think the positives is she felt her age, but then the drawback is that sometimes being in the head of a 16-year-old can be frustrating. It made some of the interpersonal conflicts feel a little bit self-inflicted because she would almost willfully misinterpret things that others said, or she would decide how they felt without actually asking them, or she would close herself off from opening up to people because she assumed how they would react. And I think that's a very 16-year-old thing to do, but it also, like I said, it just made some of the conflict interpersonally self-inflicted. That being said, you can kind of tell from the start that this is going to have a bit of a coming of age element and that Junie is going to grow from some of those characteristics. So by the end, we do see that, but she still is acting that way pretty close up until the end. Biggest critique of the book is just that it should have been marketed as YA because the character of Junie does read so young. The writing is beautiful, it is descriptive. I especially loved the descriptions in all of the scenes with her sister. Those were ones that really pulled me in. And I think that that may be an additional critique is the sister element I found was sold pretty heavily on, the inside cover. And I felt like we didn't get to see her sister as much as I wanted to. Anytime we interacted with the sister, it felt like the story really clicked into place. And so I just wanted a little bit more of the sisterly element between Junie and Minnie, as opposed to just seeing so much of their relationship through Junie's head and her thoughts, as opposed to their interactions on the page. With that, too, I think I was hoping for a little bit more magical realism than we got. But like I said, when we got it, I did really enjoy the magical realism aspects. Something that I thought was interesting is the white girl that she's the maid for, Violet, is really into kind of classic romance or romance adjacent novels like Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights. I say romance adjacent because I don't think Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights are truly romantic. Those are some pretty toxic relationships. But I found that some of the romance and romance scenes did really remind me of kind of that genre. There's a dance scene that kind of felt very Pride and Prejudice, and some of the just way that the author introduced relationships or introduced some of those more romantic scenes felt very reminiscent of a lot of the novels she was referencing. So I thought that that was something that was really cool. I also really appreciated how the author didn't back away from giving details of slavery that might not always be presented. We do, through other characters, see just some of the brutality and the inhumanity. There's a scene in particular towards the end that I don't want to reveal the details because it is so far into the book and it has a really big emotional impact. But I think it was something that showed what the white women in the time of slavery could take away from the black slave women. I think a lot of the times when we learn about history, we hear about all of the ways that the white men and the plantation owners caused a lot of harm. And we don't always hear about the way that the white women caused harm. And I think that that's a really important aspect of history to showcase. Another element that I found the author balanced really well was talking about the concept of families being split up through slavery. She really shows you the lack of control, both through the objective plot events that are happening, but also through the emotion. So much of Junie's inner turmoil comes from the fear of being separated from her family and especially from the family that is left. And that was an aspect that I found really powerful and really emotionally drove the book. If you enjoy historical fiction, magical realism, coming of age stories, and if you're fine reading from a little bit of a younger narrative voice, I would 100% recommend Junie. I did enjoy it. I am really glad I picked it up, even if it wasn't my favorite read. I did still feel like I got something out of it and appreciated being able to learn more about this time through a more emotionally driven lens and not just a textbook factual lens. I think that it's important to add empathy to history. The final book I have left to read is To Continue On in the Strength of the Few. I think it was a bold choice to pick that for this video just because it's a book that takes me a little bit longer. I find just the different settings we get to see really cool. I find the magic really innovative, and I really am enjoying my time so far. So far it is living up to kind of the hype I set for it in my mind. In the time I've been filming, the top 10 for each category has come out, so I did want to film a little reaction to that as well. So, fiction, I already know I'm voting for Wild Dark Shore. That's one of my favorite books of the year. In terms of what could win, I think the biggest competition would be My Friends or Emperor of Gladness. If I had to predict a winner, I think My Friends is going to pull out the win, but I have seen a lot of people talking about Wild Dark Shore. Sometimes a dark horse does win, but I think My friends will win. Oh no, Junie. I would have voted for Junie. I do think Atmosphere is probably gonna win. You can't. No one's doing numbers like her. Okay, mystery thriller. Oh, Richard Osman made the top 10. Lisa Jewell, Dan Brown. I'm not surprised by any of these names. Okay, Vera Wong. I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, and I felt like it was reheating Gone Girls Nachos. So Lisa Jewell, I've read one book by. Alice Feeney, I've read one book by. Karen Slaughter, I've given 5 stars and 2 stars. Okay, next we have romance. Anna Huang, The Great BBL, Carly Fortune, Lane Fargo. Yeah, Abby Jimenez, Allie Hazelwood, Liz Tomford. None of these. If I had to predict a winner, oh, I didn't predict a winner for mystery thriller, but I think it would probably be Frida McFadden again. This is hard because normally I would say Emily Henry is a shoe in to win, but I think it could go to Abby Jimenez. I don't know. It could go to. I don't know that it'll be Anna Huang. I don't think it'll be Carly Fortune. I don't think it'll be Bryn Weaver. I think it could be the favorites because that was an early favorite of the year for a lot of people. Romantasy. Okay. I've read none of them. If I had to predict, I think Onyx Storm would probably win, but a lot of these have Alchemist could be a dark horse. A lot of people like Emily Wilde, and I think a lot of the fantasy readers that don't read Romantasy might have read Emily Wilde, and so I think that that could swing some extra votes for them. I think Onyx Storm will probably win. Okay. Oh, I would not have predicted The River Has Roots to make the top 10. Everything else is making sense. I still really want to read The Raven Scholar. I feel like that could be a dark horse win. Yeah, I'm voting for Strength of the Few. I think I'm probably going to give it 5 stars just based on reactions, based on what I've read so far and reactions I've seen from people who have finished the book. Okay, science fiction. Oh my gosh, Automatic Noodle. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I don't really know much about these. Horror. Okay, Buffalo Hunter made it. Bat Eater made it. Play Nice, Bewitching. I just went totally opposite. Sorry, everyone. Very surprised that We Love You Bunny made it because I have seen exactly one person give that a positive review so far. There's a chance Stephen King wins because he always wins. But I think it would be really cool to see Bat Eater or Buffalo Hunter win. Those would be my 2 picks. Okay, debut novel. I'm bummed that Blood on Her Tongue didn't make it because I would have voted because I did give that one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, Junie made debut. Okay, I'm gonna vote for Junie. um, I don't know what would win debut. Oh, I think Alchemist will probably win. Okay, audiobook. Dude, I don't know. I think that they should have better data for deciding what's in this category. So I'm just gonna kind of skip it. Okay, favorite young adult fantasy and sci-fi. I think Sunrise on the Reaping's gonna win. I'm voting for Oathbound. Young adult fiction. I haven't read any of these, but it's cool to see dating and dragons there. That's the one I'd be most interested in. I think John Green could win. Oh, the Serviceberry made it. Yay. Okay. Did I just not realize the Serviceberry was in this last time? I think I thought the Serviceberry came out last year. But I read that this year. If I had to pick a top 3, it would be Everything is Tuberculosis, One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This, or The Let Them Theory. I'm going to vote for Serviceberry just because that's the only one I've read, and I did enjoy it. For memoir, okay, my girl Malala's there. I don't know if that Malala will win. I feel like potentially The House of My Mother. That's the one that I've seen most people reading, but we all see more of one thing versus the other in the bubble that we reside in. History and biography. I won't vote here because I don't know anything, but okay. There's a chance I'm still reading The Strength of the Few when the winners get announced, so I might react to that as well. But okay, but there's our top 10. I'm gonna get to reading. Hey, I'm recording in the car because I couldn't wait any longer, but I want to look at the Goodreads Choice Award winners. Are you ready to hear what they are, Kenny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No surprise. Frederick Bachman won. My Friends won fiction. Wild Dark Shore was second place. So I'm content with that because that was my vote. Next, historical fiction. Don't have much stake in. Atmosphere 1, Taylor Jenkins Reid. You know her. No surprise there. Mystery and thriller winner was Not Quite Dead Yet. Not surprised based on the author. This was Holly Jackson's adult debut. I've read her YA. Romance, not much stake in this one either. Wow. The Great BBL one. The Great Big Beautiful Life. I was very surprised about that one because I heard it was more fiction than it was romance. So I was expecting Abby Jimenez to maybe win out over that. Romantasy, Onyx Storm. Who moved? No one. Alchemized 2. Okay, Night in the Moth was number 3. Good for Rachel Gelling. Of course, this is what loads. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Ooh, I don't think I predicted that. That makes sense though. V.E. Schwab is she's a highly read author. Calabasas, number 2. I know like one person who likes that book. So I'm very surprised it got so many votes. That's a huge difference in numbers though. Number 1 was 100,000, and then number 2 was 87,000. Number 3 is 50,000. So it's like a huge jump off. And I really was out here like, I think the Raven Scholar could be a dark horse, and it got 9th place. Oh, very surprising. The Compound won science fiction. Did not predict that. I heard that The Compound was less sciencey, but maybe it's because more general fiction readers read The Compound than other sci-fi books, so then they voted in science fiction for that, which drove up the numbers. Okay, horror. No Stephen King win. This is the first time in a while, Kenny. Another snub. Not a snub, another defeat. No Frida McFadden and no Stephen King win. Grady Hendrix won. I heard good things about that book. Okay, Stephen Graham Jones is number 3. Amazing. Alchemized. Okay, no shocker there. Oh my god. First place, 165,000 votes. Second place, 52,000 votes. 110,000 vote difference. That's crazy. Okay, audiobook. Onyx Storm. No one moved. Okay, Sunrise on the Reaping one. YA fantasy sci-fi. Fearless. Rebel Witch. Oathbound's number 4. I think Oathbound, I don't think she was ever gonna get first place, but I think she should have gotten second place. Fake Skating. I have, okay, Dating and Drama. Dating and Dragons got 3rd. That's the only one that I really have on my radar. Best nonfiction. No shocker there, John Green. Everything's Tuberculosis. And Let Them Theories number 2. Oh, so I did correctly predict the top 3. Oh, and Serviceberry got number 4. I like Serviceberry. House of My Mother. That tracks. Only Malala got number 2. To Kill a Witch. Oh, interesting. I would have maybe predicted Jane Austen's Bookshelf. I don't know if I did a prediction earlier. I don't know as many about these ones. Okay. Cool. I was actually more surprised than I thought I would be for a lot of those winners. But okay, so it is December 12th. So it's been a while since I started this blog. I'm 75% into The Strength of the Few, so I have actually made progress in that book. I've got a couple of things to reflect on. I think that this vlog has made me realize that, one, I either need to be more intentional about when I choose to do a video that needs to be done within a certain window, because I chose to do this during a really busy couple weeks, and so that made it hard to stay on top of the videos. Then I was feeling hard on myself, but I'm still gonna see it through. I'm still gonna put it out because I want to hold myself accountable to that. But I think that just shows me in the future, like, don't plan these videos when you have time to actually do them. Plus, I just had a lot of really okay. So I don't think it's a never do, a video that requires a certain time frame in the future. I think it's just be more intentional about it, because I don't want to set myself up for failure or for something that's hard to do and then feel hard on myself because of the circumstances that I did the video in. Okay, but however, I did say I'm 75% in to the strength of the few, and I'm really enjoying it. I will say, and the ending could change things for me. Right now it's feeling like a strong 4.5. Reading The Will of the Many, I think for the whole book, I was like, this is a 5-star. This is a 5. You just knew. I just knew it in my bones. Versus reading The Strength of the Few, I think there are some elements that, not that I'm having a problem with, but that are just standing out to me that make it not perfect. I can't find my tablespoon, so my coffee's gonna have some fiber in it because coffee needs to get through your digestive system faster than it already does. I can't say too much about The Strength of the Few in specifics, which I feel like everyone is saying in all of their videos. And so what I will say is we are following different perspectives in this book. So that's really cool because I'm really liking how much of the setting that we're getting to see. I'm really liking how differences in perspective are leading to character development for different characters. However, because we flip pretty evenly between all of the perspectives, but every once in a while, it'll be a while since we've been through one perspective, and when we pick it up again, there's been this massive time jump of like a month, 2 months, and this character might have a new relationship with someone else or no new information, and we're told about it as the reader, but I feel like I'm having to play catch up with where the character is, if that makes sense. And it's not ever, I'm not putting fiber in, what am I doing? It's not that it's ever hard to figure out what's happening, it's just that like I feel like as the reader, sometimes I'm like a step behind or I'm lagging behind what I'm expected to be following, and I have to like play catch up. And so I wish that we got to see a little bit more of what happens in between those big time jumps, but I also understand that it's already such a long book that things have to be cut somewhere. I was about to say, I feel like there are certain elements that I would have cut instead, just because they felt like comedic interludes, but they did end up having relevance to the serious aspects of the plot, so found it. Yeah, I'm just feeling like I'm missing a little bit, like I'm wanting to see a little bit more than we're getting to see, but I also understand that if we see everything, this book becomes a lot longer than it needs to be. That being said, I'm really curious to see just like how the conflict develops. Already some of the things with the magic system are really cool, just in how what we know and what we see of Will has expanded since book one. In book one, honestly, we're told about Will and we see it maybe through technology, but we don't necessarily see people use Will, and we get to see that a lot more in this book, which is really interesting. So I have about 30 minutes left of work to do today, and then I'm just gonna have a nice and easy Friday. I'm gonna just sit and read and hopefully finish The Strength of the Few. What are both of you? Oh my goodness, so poorly behaved. Get out of here. That's my plan. If I don't finish Strength of the Few today, I do think I can finish it tomorrow, or this weekend at the very least. Just finished The Strength of the Few, and this is my immediate reaction. I don't know if you could see the single tears coming down. The final chapter had something that really got to me in a positive way. Book really ended with a bang. I do want to say, however, that my Kindle, evil, was telling me I had 25 minutes left in the book, and I was actively on the last page, and it said 25 minutes left because of like acknowledgements or whatever. So I read that, I'm like, I read the final line, and I'm like, oh my God! And then it's over. And I'm thinking I'm gonna get a little more information. What do you mean? Okay, yes, I am holding a book and my Kindle because I started reading my next book, and then I was like, why did it say I have 25 minutes left? This is one area where I do wish I had a physical copy instead of the ebook, is because there is a whole glossary and character index in the back, and there were moments where it was like, oh, I wish I had a character index, or I wish I had a glossary of these terms, because I can't remember exactly what that means. And there are some new characters we meet where I could tell their names aligned with a certain dialect, and I was like, I am guessing how these are pronounced. And I did pronounce a lot of them wrong in my head, so I'm like, oh, this would have also been good to know is here. So I discovered why it said I have 25 minutes left. But reflecting where certain storylines ended, it wouldn't have made sense for there to be more book. Like, they ended at the spot they were supposed to for the next book. Wow, really enjoyed Strength of the Few. Probably my favorite of the 3 Goodreads winners that I read. I am gonna land on a 4.5, just because I did still have some moments where I was like, it maybe didn't seem like as tight of a story as The Will of the Many, in terms of like, there were definitely time jumps that were kind of big that I would have wanted to see more stuff in the middle. The world really expanded in this book in ways that really interested me. I did still feel like I maybe had to reread things a couple times to fully grasp how something was expanding. But that being said, I still love this series. It's so good. It's so innovative. I've never read anything like it, and it's, at least for me, I really enjoy fantasy, but I don't know that I've read as much epic fantasy as other people have. That's something I feel like I'm still getting into a lot of the big titles. At least for me, I've never read anything like this series, and I really enjoy it. And I think if you're a fan of fantasy and you haven't picked it up yet, this is a really unique and fun series to experience. Something I love about this, and I've said this about book 1 too, is, hey, it's me, sick in bed, editing this video after taking a month to film it, and discovering that my final clip just stops in the middle of the video. So that's really cool. I'm glad that I finished this video. I'm glad that I followed through. I'll keep it real. I don't know that I will have time or energy to put any videos out for the rest of the year, but I'm really excited with some of the plans I have for next year's videos. I'll definitely be putting out kind of a year in review, favorites, and things like that. And I'm excited about the plans and the goals I have for 2026. So if you made it all the way to the end, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you found some good books out of the Goodreads Choice Awards. I love watching these videos. I love getting to see what gets nominated every year. And thank you all for joining me along on the ride. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.